All right, back on the show, Morning Wake Up here. Appreciate you being with us, 1320WILS.com. In addition to over the airwaves, of course, 24/7, 365, live streaming there, the podcast as well, wherever you may be around this globe of ours, even off planet. I'm not sure how that works, but hey, we're always willing to give it a try. In space, it's the time of year here as we wind things down to think about, well, tax season, which is right ahead. Your last chance to get in some of those key deductions. I note that the IRS is doing a lot less in terms of audits, which doesn't make you feel any better if you are indeed audited. And that's when you might find out that you made a mistake with your charitable giving. You don't want to do that. Let's find out how not to make those sometimes simple mistakes with CPA and money therapist. Oh, by gosh, by golly, it's time for mistletoe and holly. Holly Signorelli here. You've never heard that before, have you, Holly?
Never.
Hey, we appreciate you being on here. So what about that? This is when you want to make sure you both help out, do something great at the end of the year, maybe take some of that money and make yourself feel good, help out a charity. But, you want to take advantage, if you can, of all the tax, break that you can. How do you not mess that up?
It's interesting. The IRS several years ago, just like what you said, they do less audits, but more meaningful audits, because they created a system called ACE, which stands for Automated Correspondence Exam. So basically, we've got the computers running the show, right? Just like everything else right now. So if you deviate from certain line items, particularly charity and other things too, but we're talking about charity today, then it kind of dings off the system, and then somebody looks at it to decide whether they're going to audit it. And an audit is really just them asking for the backup from the organization. So people need to understand that they need to make sure that they are contributing to a qualified organization and that they get the receipt. And I usually recommend using a credit card or debit card or some kind of auto draft so that you have, because it shows up on your credit card or your bank statement.
Holly, what about when people are not making a cash donation, but they're donating goods, clothing, furniture, etc., and they're doing so in person? What about that?
It is kind of a big deal because there's been a lot of abuse where people were just making up numbers, particularly with the goodwill type transactions. So the IRS website, which is irs.gov, so that's pretty easy to remember, has a page on it where it will tell you what the value is of what you're giving. So if you are giving a significant amount, then I would highly recommend going to that site and then just, using the template. This is what I gave, a sofa and some clothes and some kitchen appliances, and then put the value on it just so it's not a big deal. Because what causes you to get dinged off on the IRS ACE system is if you have significantly more contributions than the average person at your income level. So let's say you're moving or you're getting married, so you're merging, your assets together. You may be getting rid of a lot of things, but you definitely want to have backup. I did that years ago myself. We were merging into a new house together, so got rid of a lot of stuff. And I didn't get dinged, but just in case, I took a picture, because there was a lot of stuff that I was getting rid of.
Yeah, and so if you got Grandpa Fred's couch that you inherited, don't say that, I think brand new they paid $6,000. I mean, it's because that's probably going to be a red flag, right?
Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't mean, I'll take it. If someone's in my office and I know that they have the backup and we have the number, I'll take the larger dollar amount. But it has to be reasonable because the resale value of things like that is very low, even if you did buy a $6,000 sofa or something, a really nice piece of furniture, you're still going to get maybe a third if you're lucky, if it's in great condition.
Holly,
another thing like that too are the cars. If you're contributing a car, you have to go through a qualified organization because they are the ones that dictate the fair market value of your car. They don't want everyone going on, kbb.com, and then you can kind of manipulate the answers. So this was a big thing in the news a couple years back.
Yeah, because people were ripping off the system. I mean, they were ripping off the system there for an absurd number on a vehicle that was worth, a fraction of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but yeah, Holly Signorelli is our guest here, CPA, the money therapist. So, in your guys' CPA, when you are wearing that hat, do you see people who legitimately forget about some things, who don't keep track, who lose track of some legitimate charitable deductions that they could be taking? Is that fairly common too, or are people pretty careful about that?
I think that's very common, and it's what happens is when you're like, we were talking about this earlier, like at church, really nowadays churches will have an automated system too, because everything's automated nowadays. So actually, instead of putting money in, like $20 cash, and you can't keep up with it, and it's hard for them to keep up with it based on the IRS requirement, it's easier for them to also draft from your bank account or your credit card.
That's one of the greatest things. Yeah, and our parish does. It's one of the greatest things, I think, for churches, actually, because they don't rely Sunday to Sunday now on wondering what it's going to be. They can actually make some financial plans based on
they can have a budget.
auto tithe. Absolutely. I
think it's great. I like those kind of contributions where something just gets drafted every month and can just really help all kinds of
it's automatic.
Not just at the end of the year.
Yeah, and most churches will. I mean, I'll say most churches, but I think churches that are on top of this will then send you a little thing saying, "Look, here's how much you gave, and you can keep track of that. It came out with your auto draft." And that's just a good thing all the way around. But knowing where the pitfalls are, again, there may be fewer audits, but you don't want to be part of that ace, do you?
Exactly.
Stay away from it.
Terminator.
CPA and the money therapist, Holly Signorelli. Holly, where do we find you online?
TheMoneyTherapist.com, all kinds of information related to all kinds of subjects regarding money and finances.
Good stuff. Go to the website. Mistletoe, Holly, Christmas week, it's all good. We appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Holly Signorelli there. And, I combine the best of both worlds. You want to be generous, help your favorite charity. That's wonderful. It's what we do. Not everybody around the world, even in developed countries, Americans do. And then being able to get a little back and take care of the tax situation until things all get simplified in the tax code. Boy, that'll be happening someday. Cross your fingers. Morning Wake Up continues. This is 1320 WILS.